welcome to my channel. If you're new here, welcome. If you've been here before, welcome back. My name is Gina, and today I just wanted to do a quick, hopefully, Blackathon wrap up before another month goes by. And I already forgot everything in my life. Oh my god. So, I'm going to first talk about the few books that I read that actually fit. Actually, we might just do the books that actually fit prompts, because otherwise this is not going to be a quick video. The first book that I read for Blackathon. Blackathon was February during Black History Month, put on by Jessie from Bow Ties and Books. It had a whole travelers theme. I was on Team SFF, per usual, and there were 3 prompts and a group prompt. The first book I read was Remote Control by Nettie Okorafor, and this one fit the aliens prompt, which was Tade Thompson, I believe. A black protagonist encounters an alien civilization or alien technology, and that's basically what happens in Remote Control. It was, I don't have it anymore. I've already been to the library multiple times. But Remote Control was super short. And sometimes with a shorter book, I don't know if it was necessarily novella length. I don't know the difference between the length of a novella and the length of a novel. But there's just something about the way Dr. Okorafor writes that just pulls me in. I don't think I've disliked anything that I've read by her so far, and like, I might not have given everything 5 stars. I'd have to check that, but I'm gonna start rambling. Oh my god. I wrote notes too, you guys. I wrote notes. If you've never met me in person, most of you have not. I don't normally take notes for my books, but I went through to try to, like, so hopefully this will go faster, but you know. Okay, so yeah. Actually, I gave this a 4.5. Okay, well, Remote Control is a story. Fatima, aka Sankofa, basically her touch is death. She has a fox companion, and she's taking a journey to find the object that fell from the sky, and she feels was gifted to her. But it's about so much more than that. I feel like Okorafor can say a lot with just a little, and I don't know why it didn't give me that 5-star oomph, but I did really, really, really like this book. I feel like I have a video clip from the Blackathon vlog, which I uploaded, where I'm just like, because it was so good. I wish I had written down, like, this is why people take notes while they read, right? This is why they annotate, or like write a review right afterwards so they know why I gave it a 4.5. I don't know. But there had to have been a reason. I just have the memory of a sieve, so whatever. Remote control, fantastic. The next book that I read and finished was by N.K. Jemisin, and that was How Long Till Black Future Month. This one was for the time travel prompt. That's the Octavia Butler prompt. What was my hope? Because it was a collection of short stories, and somebody somewhere, I feel like, had said, like, there's got to be, I think it was on somebody else's TBR, and I was like, oh, that's on my list, like, and to be honest, there wasn't, I don't really know if any of the stories in here could count for time travel. Shoot. Oh no. Why did I do that? Oh no. I mean, maybe in the story Red Dirt Witch, but that is a stretch, a big stretch. Luckily, I did read another time travel book, so I still finished Blackathon. I was worried for a second there, like, did I not do all the prompts? But I did. It's okay. I was hoping this one would fit, but not really. Not much about time travel. There was about 22 stories in this collection. I loved a couple of them, a handful of them. I really liked a lot of them. A couple of them were just like, none of them were horrible, Miss N.K. Jemisin, but some of them were just like, oh, okay. So I did give it a 4.5. I will say my favorites were L'Alchemista. I don't know if I'm saying that right. It's a story about a chef, and there's alchemy and crazy ingredients involved, and it was a really good one, as well as the other food one, Cuisine des Memoires, and that was about food and its connection to memories. And On the Banks of the River Lex, this one, it's after something has happened to all of the people of the world. Like, I'm guessing we've all killed each other or something, but there's no more people. And I think they're in New York, New Jersey, that area, and it's just all of the beings that humans throughout history have believed in, and our belief possibly could have given form to. So you've got death walking around, and death is the main character of the story. And I know there was a bunch of other people, but it's now been entirely too long, and I didn't write any of them down. So, yeah. But I know when I was reading reviews, it's not a lot of people's favorites, but you get to the end of that short story, and I'm just like, oh. Yeah. And my other favorite was Narcomancers. This was a precursor, I think. Yeah, the precursor short story that led to the Dreamblood duology, which I've not read yet, but this short story makes it like a mandatory, like, I need to read Dreamblood, and I need to read it soon. Like, I can't just push that one off to the side. Like, it's gotta happen. It's like a priority for 2021 now. So good. Um, and then there was some other cute ones. There was just, and like there was the inspiration for The City We Became was on there. There was one for um, that, I don't know if it was a precursor for the Broken Earth trilogy, but it was a little like short story set in that world, as well as some other stories. My biggest complaint were the amount of insta love. I guess, like, that's the only kind of love, I guess, that's gonna happen in a short story if people meet in a short story. So therefore, people should just not meet and fall in love in a short story. Like, if they've been friends for a while and we're seeing like the little bit of friends to like fall in love short story, fine. If you can like kind of show me a brief history of their friendship leading up to this moment. But like for two people just to meet and be like, I don't know. The next book I read for Blackathon was Escaping Exodus by Nikki Drayden. I cannot think of this book without laughing. And not because it was a bad book. Like, there was definitely, I gave it a 4-star because I will definitely continue, and there were a few things that just like I can't hate. There definitely were a few issues with this book that I know they talked about even in the live show with, oh my god, who did the live show for this? Black Prose Club? No. Was it? I forget who did the live show for this book, but this is a space story, opera, odyssey. I don't know what the difference between those terms are, but you've got Seski and her best friend Adala. Seski is going to be the lead. She's like next in line to be the leader, the matriarch of these peoples. And then there's a couple of other characters that are prominent, but these are like the people who have left Earth, and they realized that their ships weren't going to last them to get to the planet that they were trying to get to or something, and they found a way to live inside of these spacefaring beasts, these giant space beasts. And so there was definitely a lot of interesting stuff happening in there. The ending was a little rushed, but there is going to be a second book. And there was like a plot line or two kind of left hanging, where hopefully we'll find out what happens to a couple of characters in the next book, because they just don't get mentioned after something happens and you're like, no. Like, consequences need to occur here. But I don't know if this word is a spoiler or not. So it could be considered a spoiler. So if you want zero spoilers for Escaping Exodus, mute or jump forward until my hand comes down, okay? Because I just need to say one word and I'm gonna leave it at that. You ready? Everybody's gone? Okay. Tentacle Cooch. She, in a book, wrote Tentacle Cooch. I was dead. Like, dead. I think I will remember this. I don't know why, but it's like just in my brain. Like, I think about it once a week. Okay, I'm done. I'm done. Read it, and you'll find out what I'm talking about because it's hilarious. Okay, the next book, whew, keep it up. Ooh, we gotta get this. Was Who Fears Death, also by the wonderful Nnedi Okorafor. And apparently there was like supposed to be like a connection between Remote Control and Who Fears Death, which is why I was like, I wanted to read them kind of close together. I mean, I guess maybe just like the title, like you could interpret Who Fears Death as, you know, like Sokofa, because she's supposed to be like the adopted daughter of death or whatever or something. Sorry, oh my god, pause. Who Fears Death? This takes place in post-apocalyptic Africa, and you have two races, I guess. You have the Nuru and the Okeke, and the story follows Onyesonwu. Yeah, Onyesonwu. I don't know why that sounded so weird just now. I guess I don't know if I ever had to say it out loud before because I didn't listen to the audiobook, but whatever. And she is the child of a rape, so trigger warning for that. I mean, it says it in the back of the book. The people, the Nuru are a very aggressive, not so nice race of peoples. And they're kind of, in a lot of places, enslave the Okeke. And so it follows her, and there's magic and love, but it's a decent sized book, so you're not getting insta love, which is nice. And Who Fears Death is for the spiritual Blackathon prompt, which was the Rita Woods prompt. A character traverses spirit realm or heavily embodies a black spirituality, spiritualism. And in Who Fears Death, Onyesonwu definitely traverses the spirit realm, I would say. This was a very, it was a heavy book, like a lot of intense, deep stuff, in my opinion, but I also read it fairly fast, like, and the fantastical, magical realism aspects into it were done really, really well. I loved it. I gave it a 4.5, if I didn't say that already, because I don't remember if I did. I think there's two more. Two more? Yes. 3 more. 2 more. I read the group book next, which would also fit the alien prompt, and that was The Lesson by Cadwell Turnbull. In The Lesson, this is definitely a first contact story. You're following a couple of families in this town on the islands. Was it the Virgin Islands? And leading up, counting down till when the contact happens, and then 5 years after the contact happens. is the majority of the story. So this is definitely a story about colonialism and humanity and what we're willing to do for progress. Because the aliens bring like super high tech advances and just want to hang out in the US Virgin Islands for a while. Which cool, awesome, except for the Yana, which is what they're called, or I don't know how do you pronounce it. I was calling them Yana. Are super like aggressive, like disproportionately, like you might like bump into them on the sidewalk and they're gonna respond by ripping your arms off. Like totally anger management issues here. But not even like anger. They're just inherent, I don't want to say inherently, but they're just extremely violent when provoked in any way, shape, or form. But it's also almost not even like an anger. It's almost like a, you're beneath me and you need to learn this lesson and I'm going to squash you like a bug because I can kind of deal. But it was definitely very interesting. And it kept my interest very well, which is always good. I guess I would have just liked to know more about the Yanal. Like, we got a little bit of history, but it would have been, I guess it was irrelevant to the story in hand. But I personally would have just liked there been more of a background, and I would have liked to see that. That's all I got to say about the lesson. I really enjoyed it. And the last book. I just want to stop here because things were going so well. So well. Like, this was a fantastic week. 4.5, 4.5, 4, 4.5, 4. Like, I couldn't have asked for a better Blackathon reads. And then I read another book. And I shouldn't have. I just returned to this one too. Because I'll be honest, I finished this one probably like the first week of March, but I'm including it in here because I started it for Blackathon. I struggled. The next book I picked up was Long Division by Kesey Lehman. I have now just immediately forgotten how to pronounce his name. I've heard it. I'm just drawing a complete and utter blank. And it's weird because so many people loved this book. Loved it. And rave about him as an author, and I got 3.84 on Goodreads. And I wanted to like it. I thought I would like it. This was for the time travel prompt. Because there wasn't really anything in the anthology. And I guess maybe I will read something else of Kesey's. This was their debut novel, but it won a literary award. So maybe it's just me. It must just be me. It's just me. I guess that's all I'm gonna say. Like, I could intellectually, logically see that he's a good writer. I could see that. And I think for me, I struggle with getting into the mindset of teenage boys. Teenage boys, I was never a boy. My children are not. I don't have a lot of contact with teenage boys, and I hate, I think I hate teenage boys. I hate them. I hated him. Um, and Kisei did not back down. He was like, I am writing the voice of a 14-year-old black boy in the South, and I'm gonna keep it real. The words, the language in this book. And I guess for me, like, even in my romance books, like, when it gets to, like, the steamy, smutty stuff, I'm weird, okay, guys? I skim it. I don't like reading. I'm not a prude. I'm not. The words to me are just the weirdest words ever. And this kid, he had this character, 14-year-old Satoyan. I don't know how many times I heard the words dry sack, or this other kid, his like rival, would call him a something fat, something homosexual, like over and over and over again. Like, I was just like, I don't need to hear, I don't need to read. And then it didn't help also for me that I don't normally take notes while I'm reading a book. I don't annotate, because I just want to immerse myself in the experience of the story, and I just want to live in it. I couldn't. I had to take notes. I had a piece of paper. I had one list that, because I've jumped ahead. So this book, it contains 2 interwoven stories. You have current 2013 Satoyan, who becomes an overnight YouTube celebrity from this Meltdown, whatever. His nickname is City Coldson. And then he ends up going to stay with his grandmother, but first he ends up borrowing a book from like his principal or something. A strange book. It has no author, and it's just called Long Division. The main character in Long Division is also named City Coldson, but Long Division is set in 1985. Now here's this, right? So you have 2013 Satoyan, who gets a book, and the book is about City in 1985, a different city. You know, it's not the same person, but the City in the book travels time with his friend and crush Shalala Crump to the future, 2013, as well as back to 1964. And there is a young girl. So the two, they ultimately converge. They're connected. I mean, it took a lot. It was insane. Like, I feel like I should have loved this book. Like, the concept of it, I love the concept of it. But I hated City. Passion. This kid irritated the crap out of me. Like, I almost, like, I hated this kid. I couldn't. I feel kind of bad because, like, I want people to read books by Black authors about Black characters, so I want everybody to read this. Like, I look on the Goodreads and a lot of people rated this 4 or 5 stars, but I was so confused and I hated this kid so much. And maybe it's because I don't have a lot of experience. Like, I didn't have, when my brother was 14, I was in college. So it's a for foreign concept to me. I gave it a 2-star. This is the lowest book I've ever rated that I haven't DNF'd. So just take that with a grain of salt, please, though, because, like I said, the writing was good. Like, I can logically see that. It just wasn't for me. Just was not for me at all. Not even a little bit. So yeah, that is it. And I realized I shouldn't have ended this on this. I went in the order I read it, but should have ended on a high note. That's how you do these videos, right? Okay, I'm gonna stop there because, once again, I've gone longer than I wanted to because I don't know how to not babble. If you, for some weird reason, liked this video, feel free to like it. Subscribe if you want to hear me babble about books some more. And let me know if you've read any of these books or if you're planning on any of these books. If you've read Long Division and you enjoyed it, let me know down below and tell me that I'm correct, because I am. Yeah, that's it. I will see you in the next one.